I look like a gardener to you? I am a better, I am not a gardener. Hedging is for gardens. How does your garden grow?
With plus money.
With plus money. Hedging is for gardens.
Welcome aboard, everyone, to Betting Weekly Live, and Happy New Year to everyone. It is Thursday, the 1st of January. You are with Steve Wyss and Nigel Seeley. Nigel, Happy New Year to you. How's it going?
Happy New Year, Steve. And Happy New Year to everybody watching. It's going all right. The problem is this morning I woke up with a terrible cold. A lot of cold going around, flu, bugs, sore throat, and I feel absolutely terrible. So the first day of the year, I'm not feeling that great, but I'm feeling confident about the picks. And to be honest with you, I think the last 3 shows I've come on here, I've landed the daily double. So we're in good form. And it's the darts, which I'm doing well on as well. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, we're going to be looking ahead to the Premier League games today, Championship action, PDC Darts quarterfinals this evening as well. But we've got to start. I mean, 2 huge pieces of news have came out today on the first day of the year. The Gabonese national team has been disbanded by its own government for their poor performance at the African Cup of Nations. We'll come to that a bit later. And the first day of the year and the first managerial departure in the Premier League, Enzo Maresca has parted ways with Chelsea. I mean, big news. It's just seemingly come out of nowhere, Nigel. I don't really get it.
Well, there was a statement after the Bournemouth match saying that they weren't happy with the performance and they were looking at alternatives, and Maresca would probably be leaving his job. But we thought we had a stay of execution in that, but it wasn't to be. But I mean, I think it's a bit of a shock, isn't it? A knee-jerk reaction. If you speak to a lot of Chelsea supporters, they're not very happy with him. They're not very happy with the style of play they've played. They think he makes too many changes, particularly defensively. I have a lot of good friends of mine who are Chelsea season ticket holders. They've never really warmed to Maresca. But, I mean, he's only been there, a short period of time, 18 months. He's won the European Conference League. I know it's a European trophy, not the most glamorous of trophies. But then he won the World Club Championship as well, which was huge in Chelsea's history because it meant they completed the whole set. I suppose the likes of Aston Villa doing well this season, the likes of other teams in or around them, their Champions League prospects aren't looking so great at the moment. You would expect Man City, Arsenal, Aston Villa to fight amongst that, but they're in amongst the mix. But I mean, I know he's got about 130 players in the squad to choose from, and they've got a big squad. But, I mean, Cole Palmer's been out for a long time. He's not 100% fit. He's had some issues defensively with their best defender being out as well, and Colwell. And I'm looking at the list of contenders to be the next manager. And, I mean, Liam Rossini, obviously the manager at Strasbourg, who's only managed in England at Derby. Frank Lampard was considered. Wayne Rooney, they went for the job. Wayne Rooney and Liam Rossini at Birmingham, and it was a toss up between the two of them who'll get the job. And Wayne Rooney got the job, and now he's like minus $3 over here to be the next Chelsea manager, which I think it's unbelievable. I know he's done well at Strasbourg, but for a young man to go to Chelsea, that pressure cooker what they have there, I mean. Is that the right decision? I'm not so sure. Big money in the last hour or so, not big money, but just got bits and pieces where you can see where the money's been going over here. Money for Cesc Fabregas. That wouldn't surprise me, but it looks as though it's going to be your man Liam Rossini. But God, is that an upgrade? Is that a good thing? I don't know.
It's asking a lot for a young talented manager, but it feels like it would be a step too soon for Chelsea to me. I mean, the problem is with any Chelsea manager, they've got a shorter shelf life than that piece of venison I had before Christmas, Nigel.
Right, the tummy there was
very.
The meat man literally was out of date. Meat man, when he was in all kinds of trouble over Christmas, all kinds of things going on over there.
Yeah, the record. I mean, he leaves with 2 trophies: Conference League and the World Club Championship, which that's plenty of pedigree. I wonder if Chelsea might look at maybe an interim manager till the end of the season. But Cesc Fabregas, now you got me thinking there because he's been doing a great job at Como, and I don't think he would mind leaving for Chelsea. Chelsea fans let us know.
This is a big club, though, isn't it? I mean, you got the Flamenco manager's been bet as well. Felipe Luis, I think Foxy just mentioned him. Yeah, he's been bet as well. But I mean, I just think it's a huge gamble. And I know Chelsea have made some big decisions in the past with their managers. And there's a lot of people over here, a lot of like Chelsea fans, as I say, that they think the end of the season keep someone in charge, and they'd like to see John Terry take over. Chelsea legend. They did it to Frank Lampard, steadied the ship, but they're in with a chance of winning. You know, they're in the Champions League. They're in the shake-up to get top 4. They're in the cup competitions, both cup competitions. They've got a cup semi-final against Arsenal as well. It's not like, you know, they've conceded a lot of goals, but they've had injuries. I just think it's a very, very, very strange decision, and not without like a top-class replacement. I mean, Liam Rossini is obviously a young coach doing well, but this is a huge step up to go from Strasbourg to Chelsea. And if that is the case, I'm not quite sure whether that's the right decision. But I think a lot of Chelsea fans would be actually quite happy that Maresca was gone. He wasn't very liked at Leicester either. You know, they didn't like him a lot there, his style. But you know, it shows you how fickle the world of football is.
It certainly does. I want to welcome in everyone to chat, and of course, Happy New Year. Ray Burke, Father Brian, Ming Chung, Duncan Evans, Claudio has got some positive words to say. Finally, a good day from the English Premier League show. He says he wants a live play from you, Nigel, in the Championship if you got one.
To be fair, I need. I tell you what, I do need. I need MK Dons to win today in League 2 because of my pre-season bets. I tell you what, I bet Coventry at -110 to beat Charlton. They're 1-0 up currently. I have bet Cardiff to win against Wickham would be a single play at 1-1. I quite like that. I bet Leyton Orient to beat AFC Wimbledon. That's currently 1-1. And in League 2, I am on Swindon to beat Gillingham. That's 0-0. So there's a few bets I've got which are finally poised at this moment in time. So Swindon maybe at plus money in League 2, and Leyton Orient to beat an out-of-form AFC Wimbledon League 1 in play if you want to get involved. And the bad news is my team QPR have just gone 1-0 down to Norwich 1-0. And it's irrelevant about the match. That's a Seeley v Jack Wright head-to-head. And Jack Wright's getting the better of me there on that one as well. So I'm not happy about
Josh Sargent, wasn't it? A lot of people bet on Josh Sargent anytime in most games. But Jim McCauley, good to see you. Fledge J says, Happy New Year, Nigel, all the best.
Thank you.
Jim, I totally agree with you, by the way. I love Newcastle against Palace at the weekend, and we'll talk about Palace again soon. Foxy, good to see you. Gratzer as well. Said it was a weird choice from Leicester for Chelsea getting in, but I mean, he got them 2 trophies, didn't he? Doesn't think they'll go inexperienced next time. Krieger, to see you. Nick Mace as well. Kingsley Sever, loads of you in already. Okay, well, let's crack on with today's action, Nigel. And we've got 4 games going on in the Premier League, and the early kickoffs will start with my own team, Leeds United, actually, because I mean we will get team news before the end of this. Before we've gone live here, but Liverpool -190 favourites, Leeds +500, the tie +330, over 2.5 goals is -150 here. Both teams score yes minus money. I mean, I think it's a really tough spot for Leeds, just scheduling wise. Man United at the weekend, Leeds Man United, I think, and also the big injury to Joe Rodon at the back. Leeds' formation change has done really well for Daniel Farke, but he might not be able to do 3-5-2 here because of the lack of personnel. That's a big problem, I think, for Leeds. But are Liverpool trustworthy?
Well, the Sheriff of Chippenham, Simon Holden, Daniel Farke to Chelsea. You knew it couldn't last forever, meat man, he said there. So that's where he believes that money's going. Well, I think what you just said there is very interesting. You're a Leeds fan. You watch them. You know, the change in formation has obviously done them well. Running out and injuries, but the Asian line has moved for Leeds throughout the day today, and Leeds have been nibbled on the markets. Obviously, the Asian line determines the money line, and Leeds have been cut from +520 when we recorded the Premier League show to $5, and the draw has gone from +350 to +330. Liverpool are uneasy favourites as well, so there may be some selections and team news that might come out of the Liverpool camp that may be not so. We're not aware of, which may have seen that money, because I just think Leeds here have just their defensive frailties. The biggest problem they have this season is their defence at the moment, and away from home they can't get any results. And going to Liverpool, who are in form. I know they're not the same Liverpool that we've seen over the last couple of seasons, but they are in form. They've unbeaten in their 5 matches now. And my angle here, when we did it on the Premier League show, and it hasn't really changed. My angle here is goals. I've gone for both teams to score yes, which is -143. Calvert-Lewin, obviously, I'm not going to bring it up, Steve, but you said he was probably one of the worst signings of the season on your Twitter account, which I'm not going to mention ever again, but you did. But he's in form at the moment, scored 7 goals in 6. Looking good, trying to force his way into the England squad for the World Cup. Don't think it's going to happen, but he's going back to Liverpool. I fancy Leeds to score today. And with Leeds' defensive problems, then you would expect Liverpool to score as well. Flavian Wirtz is playing exceptionally well at the moment, the player that we thought he would be. Flavian Wirtz, sorry. And I think there's goals. So both teams to score, yes, in 9 of the last 10 Leeds matches. And Liverpool conceded 4 of their last 5. So both teams to score, yes, -143, 3-3 when they played a couple of weeks back. Defensive frailties for Leeds. I think this game has got goals all over.
Yeah, Dominic Calvert-Lewin has massively. I've got to say, I've got him wrong actually. The main benefit for him is this switch to the two men up front system. He absolutely thrived in that system, and his confidence is sky high. He could be if he scores against Man United at the weekend, he could be an absolute hero. Not that he's not one already. This is a big game for him as well, personally, obviously against Liverpool. Mindy Perez mentioned there the set piece situation. Leeds have scored the most set piece goals of any team, percentage of goals that is, this season. And Liverpool, we know they've had issues. They just sacked their set piece coach. So that's an interesting angle there. Big be-all at the back for Leeds. Again, the problem if Leeds have to go to a back 4, I think it really reduces their set piece chances though. The 3 at the back has really helped them in that way. Let's have a look at some other questions here. Father Brian there, Marco Silva, would he have a chance at Chelsea? That's an interesting name to throw into the hat. A man who has been linked away from the club a few times. But it'll be interesting to see what happens in that respect. I'll never go against Leeds or count against them after the last month, says Stairway to 7. Gratzer, can I ask a general question? What's the ratio of time spent investigating data, watching the games? Real Brandon King is fading Leeds away from home. And Effie Brilowski's going Ekitike over 1.5 shots on target. Hopefully we can get the actual lineups when we do that. I might have just lost Nigel here. I'm not entirely sure. We'll try and get him back in whenever we can. Let's just see what is actually going on. Yeah, hopefully we'll get him back in soon. But anyway, the bet I like for the game is Liverpool -1 Asian handicap. I do agree with Nigel. Leeds may well score in the game, but I think Liverpool are certainly capable of scoring 3 goals all by themselves if needed. So that is the angle I'd go. Looking back again at some other comments here. Stay away at 7, by the way. A very happy New Year to you. I love that thread you did on X yesterday about all the great wins you had in 2025. Really appreciate your support. Really appreciate everyone's support, actually. And whilst we're at it, we might as well do the promo, actually, if we can get that on screen, the pizza money bonus bet. If I can find that one. We've got the hold on a minute, if I can just find it. We've got the free bonus $10 play that is available to BetRivers customers until the 11th of January. Basically, if you type in the code, if we can get it on screen, I'm not sure if we're able to get it on screen actually with this particular one. We'll do that a little bit later. Here we go. Here it is. This is the one I was after, the Pizza Money promo play. If you've got your eyes on the plus money bet at BetRivers, Betting Weekly is giving you this giveaway. Enter the code Betting Weekly 1218. That's in capitals to get a $10 bonus bet to use on any plus money bet at BetRivers. You got until January the 11th to redeem that. And I know loads of you have been using it before. But yeah, I've just heard from Nigel. We're going to hopefully get him back on his phone very, very soon. It sounds like there's been some incident down there. Sheriff of Tippingham says DCL is a joker in the pack tonight. Anytime scorer looks value. He's plus 200 with BetRivers to score at any time. I think he's a great bet actually against Manchester United at the weekend. And I wouldn't put off anyone backing him here because he's on this streak of 6 straight Premier League games with a goal for Leeds. That's the best record anyone's had for any Leeds striker in the Premier League history. So but I do wonder if Daniel Farke, if it starts badly, might rest some players in the second half. It all depends how good Liverpool are, really. They welcome back Dominic Szoboszlai, of course, which is a big boost for them. I think Liverpool 3, Leeds 1 is what I'd be going with. I just want to focus on the other early game as well, Crystal Palace Fulham, and on the Premier League show. Nigel and Jack do discuss this in detail. I know Nigel's got a pick on the game. He likes Fulham on the quarter ball handicap, and I would absolutely totally agree here. Crystal Palace, incredibly, this is now their 11th game in a space of 36 days, I do believe. They have been basically at it in all competitions, Premier League, Europa Conference League, and also they've had a problem with the EFL Cup as well. So this is a real problem for Crystal Palace. Like the boys have flagged up for a while on the show, the scheduling is a big problem. I don't think I could go near them even money, plus 114 now for Crystal Palace. But Fulham, I think you could look at backing them on draw no bet handicap, the plus a quarter of a ball. This is definitely an angle I would agree with Nigel. Just saying, Nigel, welcome back in.
Hello, mate.
Welcome back in. I totally agree with your pick on the Premier League show about Fulham because Crystal Palace, it's like the 11th game they've had in the space of 36 days, which is astronomical for any soccer team, really.
Yeah, apologies about that. I've had 2 power cuts in my house in the last 25 minutes. So all the car alarms are going off outside, all the street lights have gone out. So we've now got a little bit of electric back. But if I go again, I apologise. But while I've been away, Swindon just scored, so that's quite good. Anyway, let's go back to Crystal Palace. Yeah, I mean, Crystal Palace, I think the big problem for Crystal Palace is that they're so reliant on them attacking fullbacks. And both of them, Munoz is out. Richards is part of that defensive 3 alongside Gaya and Lacroix. And they just look leg weary. Just absolutely gone at the game. Very, very tired. I tipped them up. Obviously, I liked Tottenham quite strongly to beat them the last time out. Tottenham did a good job on them. But Tottenham didn't play very well. And I think Palace are beatable at the moment in time. I don't know what the team news. Team news will be coming out soon. We'll have a look at what Crystal Palace is about. And also, you've got to remember now, Glasner is a name that's going to be linked with Chelsea. I mean, he's not one of the main contenders. But whenever there's a big move for a manager, Manchester United, Chelsea, his name's going to be in the reckoning as well. So that's going to be a distraction for them as well. Fulham coming in good form. They've won 3. I think they've won 3 of the last 4 on the road, I think it is. Couple of good wins as well. The last time they lost was that crazy match against Manchester City. They scored 4 goals against Man City and lost the game. Not many teams can say they can do that. So they're going to cause Palace all kind of problems here. I mean, last I saw, obviously I've got no computer in front of me now. I'm doing this on my mobile. But the last I saw, I think Fulham were plus 260. I wouldn't put anyone bet that. Yeah, and you've got to remember, the last 10 years of this fixture, or the last 10 times these two have played, not this fixture, home and away, none of the teams of the home sides have won. So it's been a fixture that's done very, very well for road teams in the draw. I don't know if you noticed, the lights have just gone out again here. It's crazy.
Yeah, this is incredible.
The light has gone out now. I can't get any light working. Everything is completely gone.
I had a day last year, Nigel, where the power went out here and there was no mobile reception at all. And I was due on the live show that day. I had to walk about 2 miles to someone's house where I knew they had internet just to get a message through that Dan Rowe had taken over. we are when there's a power cut, it's an absolute nightmare because obviously internet and stuff goes down as well. Yeah, Fulham plus 260 now. I just think Palace, I agree with you. They're a big fade at the moment until they can get a bit of a rest period in January, really. I think they're in trouble for Newcastle at the weekend as well.
Well, they look like they're buying Brennan Johnson from Tottenham.
Yeah.
I think it's a very good signing.
Good signing.
So that might give them some kind of confidence, but they need something like that because at this moment in time, they're a side that need something. They need, they're playing a lot of football, cup competitions as well, and I don't think the market has actually caught up with them yet. They are getting bigger, but still, I think there is value to oppose them, especially in this fixture. This fixture is notoriously a good result, a good fixture for road teams.
We do have the lineups out for Liverpool Leeds. Dominic Calvert-Lewin is rested to the bench for Leeds United. But it looks like Leeds are sticking with a back 3. Sebastian Bohr now is going to play centre-back. He's hardly played a minute for Leeds this year. He's had 2 total minutes in the whole season. So this is his first starting debut. Signed him from Wolfsburg in the summer. I've not seen a lot of him, to be honest, Nigel. He's a big lad, I think. So let's see how he gets on. But it's interesting that the manager is hell-bent on sticking with this tactical formation, which I probably agree with because it's brought him some success. But Calvert-Lewin is on the bench. That's big news from the Leeds game. Let's move
That's
to
got
the
to be injury based. There's got to be injury, isn't it? There can't be tactical.
Probably.
Yeah. He's the form striker in the Premier League.
He probably might have a niggle. Like I said, Leeds have got a game at 12:30 on Sunday against Man United at home. You don't want to risk him being injured for that, do you? So if he has got a little niggle, then that is a problem. The later fixtures then, look, we know your thoughts on the Premier League show about Sunderland, Man City. First part of the Daily Double as well is going to be on Manchester City from you here, Nigel. Sunderland have done my brains in, to be honest, this season. They keep getting results. And I faded them against Brighton. I lost. I faded them against Leeds. I got my money back on the draw no bet. At some point, these African nations' departures and the injuries that they're adding up as well, it's got to take its toll, surely, on Sunderland. They can't keep going to the well because it will run dry eventually.
Well, I think the only thing that they've got in their favour in this match is that amazing home record and that amazing home support, and that crowd and making it the most intimidating place it could possibly be for Manchester City. I think that might wash it against mid-table sides. I think, home to Man United, they may be able to do it. At home to Tottenham, they may be able to get that crowd on their side. But this is Manchester City, who are arguably playing the best football in the world right now, who on an incredible winning run. And I just think that the last team you want to play when you're a little bit leggy and you're without some of your main players in key areas, your centre midfield players, your strikers, your defenders, it is Manchester City. Because they're going to keep a lot of ball and you're going to have to be doing a lot of running around. Sunderland's XG in their last match against Leeds was pretty poor. It was only 0.81. Leeds averaged 2.61. If they played that game again, Leeds would have won that match. It was a 1-1 draw. They didn't play at all well. And the warning size has been there for Sheffield, for Sunderland in the last couple of matches. The last match prior to that was a 0-0 draw against Brighton. Brighton were really bad, but Sunderland didn't play that great. And their levels are dropping, which is understandably when they're one of the, they've got a lot of new players. They've got a decent squad. But some key players, 3 key starters, are playing in this match. And when you're playing Manchester City at the bottom, you need your best players. I think Man City can win this fairly comfortable. I've gone on the Premier League show and an official bet of Man City -1.25, which is -110. But obviously on this show, we like to boost up the daily double. And I just think it's a nice boost up to just put them in on the money line. I mean, they're minus, what are they now, Steve? I did see -245 before we come on, but I don't know if that's changed because I can't see any access, but is that the kind of price we're looking at?
-250 now, Manchester City.
Right.
They've been
I would never be betting -250s in singles, but in a daily double with my other selection, I think that's a nice price, and I'm boosting it up to get a nice plus money official play here on the daily double. So Man City for me, I think Man City are going to come out the traps really quick. I think they can win this the first half quite easily. I think they can get two goals before half time. And I think they can cruise through Haaland, obviously Foden, and the Jerky, who's absolutely on fire at the moment as well. So I think the scoring factor they have, they can blow Sunderland away. But I think it's going to be done by half time. So Sunderland on the money line for me at -250 is the first leg of my official play. But if you want to be a bit more adventurous and you want to follow us on the Premier League show, Man City -1.25. I think they could win this by 2, 3, maybe even 4 goals.
I do totally agree. I'm following you on that -1.25. I'm having a bit of the -2.5 on the handicap as well. I think this could be blowout City for Manchester City in this one. Stairway to 7 says, are we playing Haaland anytime score? City moneyline parlay again. I don't think you would want to oppose that one.
What price are you getting there? What price are we getting there, Steve?
Well, I'm just going to work it out now. But I'd imagine it'd be knocking on the doors of evens. -108 for that bet. So I can see why it'd be popular. But I mean, the only thing I'll say for Haaland is if it's a sort of game he might only be given 65 minutes in, but by then the damage is probably done, if we're being honest. So in this period where they've got Chelsea coming up next, he might be ready. So if you sort of doing the ladder on Haaland, 2 goals, 3 goals, it's maybe a bit more dangerous today.
That's one of the reasons why I think they might be a better bet to win the first half, because I think they might go right at it from the first minute, try to get some players rested up. Obviously, they played an extra couple of days. Arsenal played, have had a bit more rest for them. So it'd be so important to probably go 2-0 up at half time here and rest Foden, Haaland, the key players ahead of that big Chelsea game, which has now taken a bit of a turn after the Maresca news today. So, yeah, I would never put anybody off betting Haaland and Man City to score. I mean, if I took you off from doing that, it's one of the most profitable bet across the world sport this year, or last year, sorry. But I would think that he's got to get them early. So maybe look for the first half angle.
Yeah, let's hope Manchester City do get the job done in that one. That's the first part of your daily double as well. City just to win on the money line. Final game today in the Premier League. I think it's the toughest game of the day, actually. Brentford against Spurs. Brentford plus 133 favourite. Spurs knocking on the door of a 2-1 dog now. Jack Wright's got an official play in this game on the Premier League show as well. I actually probably agree with him, to be honest, here. But Spurs' injury situation, I looked at it again today, and it just doesn't seem to ever be getting that much better, Nigel. They're constantly fighting with, a lot of these have been long-term injuries, but when you, in this sort of period, you could ideally be using that big squad, couldn't you?
Yeah, and they're selling players. They're getting rid of players as well. Brendan Johnson going was a bit of a shock because they haven't really got many attacking players. Solanke, obviously, long-term. Madison out. Sarr as well, not playing. The Kudos as well from a midfield perspective. But I think they're... I wasn't convinced by them last time out against Crystal Palace. I know they won the game, but I think it was more of a letdown factor for Palace. They gave the ball away very cheaply against any other good and have a decent side on that particular day. I don't think Tottenham would have won that match, but they found Crystal Palace in a bad run and tired. This is, for me, I think this is the toughest match of the card. I agree with you, Steve. Brentford, just the Jekyll and Hyde team in the Premier League between home and away, exceptionally good at home, diabolical on the road, and Tottenham are totally opposite. They're not very good at home, and they do all their best results on the road. I think that's more to do with the pressure that they have at the Tottenham Stadium, with the managers under fire. The performance isn't that great, and the fans are on their back. So I think they like the luxury of playing away, and I think Brentford will love it. The other thing, Brentford start fast. Talking about teams that start fast, Brentford come out very, very fast in these matches. I agree with Jack. I would probably go for Brentford on the money line. But given Tottenham's form, and obviously we throw into the mix that Thomas Frank was the former manager at Brentford, and they played 2 weeks ago where Brentford did absolutely nothing, and Tottenham won that game 2-0, and it was one of the worst performances of the season by Brentford. They can only get better, but I think their odds look about right. I think plus 135, maybe a little bit of a play, but I just cheer on Jack's official play for me, but I won't be getting involved in this match.
Yeah, I think I'm the same. Hopefully they can get the job done for Jack. Dan Roebuck, welcome in. Says Bees win and overs, and the Fulham game. Fulham run change, second straight game. The last time apparently that happened, they beat Leeds. Didn't realise they're sort of team who chopped and changed so much, actually, Fulham, but clearly a more settled lineup today. Kinez says both teams scoring over 3.5. Effie Brilowski, Thiago over 1.5 shots on target. Brentford team total as well, over 1.5. And Father Brian with an interesting play, Thiago and Sharda to score and assist each other for 100-1 there. I think Thomas Frank will come back here and be happy to avoid defeat, to be honest with you, Nigel.
That record, though, they've had that record that they have at home, Brentford. 10 matches at home, they've only lost one match, and that was Manchester City. So that's a phenomenal good record. I think there's only Arsenal and Man City who've got a better home record than them, and they score a hatful of goals, 4-1 in their last match as well against a very disappointing Bournemouth performance. But I just got a sneaky feeling here that when you go on the overs and you go for high scoring, you've got to rely on the other team to offer it. And I think with Tottenham being down to their bare minimum, and the fact they can't bring up Johnson on the bench to turn it around with his pace, I'm a little bit worried about the goals here. But I think Thomas Frank has to come here and build on the back of that win at Palace. But I'm not so sure. I think that's a real tough match. And I think there's much better options than that this evening.
For more Premier League talk, you can still watch the Premier League show ahead of these 4 games. So do check that out if you've not already. We're going to move to your second part of your daily double today now, Nigel. It's in the Championship. There's one later game. Sheffield United against Leicester City. Sheffield United minus money favourites. Rejuvenated under the return of Chris Wilder, of course. Leicester City, a bit disappointed this season with them, to be honest. Nearly plus 300 here on the money line today. Ties plus 245. Over 2.5 goals is minus money, so is both teams to score. Yes, I like Sheffield United here. Nigel, I think they've been great under the return of Wilder. They've been great at home. And I make them. He's even got Patrick Bamford scoring goals. That deserves a knighthood in itself, doesn't it, for Chris Wilder?
He's done well. And I was watching one of the preview shows today for the new year, and a lot of people are still predicting Sheffield United to get into the playoffs, which shows you the turnaround they've done and the nature of the Championship. You only have to win 4 or 5 games in this championship. You can go from bottom 6 to the playoffs very, very quickly. And it's going to become very, very congested. And they are going to be right in the mix here. Unfortunately, I still can't get my computer on where it's frozen. So I've got all my stats on there. But the bet I like here is both teams to score yes. I mean, the two of them played it. Was it 3 weeks ago now? And in a pretty crazy match with Sheffield United winning 3-2. Leicester games in the last few matches have been wild. They've come to the sort of stage of their season where it's basically gun-ho. We need to start scoring goals. We need to start attacking. We need to change our season around. And Fuentes, the former QPR manager, sort of let his team off the shackles a little bit here. The last Leicester scored in 10 of their last 11 matches. And in their last 10 matches, every single one of them has been seen over 2.5 goals. Sheffield United have just been going goal crazy in their matches. 6 of their last 9, Sheffield United have scored at least 3 goals. So there's goals. There's goal scorers all over the place. Defensively, they both give up chances as well. And I think this is a real wild match here. Over 2.5 goals really surprised me that the price was -117. I thought that was I can see that coming in fairly comfortably. I was, talking about laddering. We could go 3.5 here. -117 is a low price. Is a big price for over 2.5. But I've gone for both teams to score yes at -136. I mean, 3-2 in the last match. The XG was very, very high. Both sides, their strength is in attacking positions. Both of them weakness is their defence. Both of them are playing in some really wild matches. 3-2s, 4-1s, 4-2s. Goals galore, but in both ends. And I think both teams to score tonight at -136. I was really surprised, actually, when you look at some of the Premier League games where both teams to score, yes, it's like -185, -190. I was actually quite surprised to see this one at -136 and over 2.5 goals at -117. Because anybody who's watched these two sides in the last 2 months or so will tell you they both carry a huge, huge goal threat. So goals, I think both teams to score yes is my bet here, -136. It's shorter, it's lower odds than the over 2.5, which is -117. And for that reason, I'm putting it in the daily double with Man City to win on the money line. And I think we get about +144. It was +150 because the fact that they have been bet, Man City have been bet on the money line, has seen that price come down a little bit. But they're the kind of prices I like on these daily doubles, sort of about a +140, +150 shot. And we're looking for goals, and we're looking for Man City to stamp their authority at a newly promoted club. And I think you've got to go back a very long time, the last time Man City beat a newly promoted club. So that is my daily double today, and it plays 144 with Bet Rivers.
Yeah, there it's on screen there. Sheffield United, Leicester City, both teams score yes, and Manchester City on the money line. That comes at +144. And I mean, regards to this Sheffield United game, I mean, Leicester's only chance of getting anything is by scoring goals. They have conceded at least 1 goal in 18 consecutive games. They've conceded 17 goals in their last 8. That's more than 2 per game. I think Sheffield United get this done 3-1-ish, maybe even 4-1-ish. Leicester's defence is awful.
But look, that's why I can't believe that over 2.5 goals is -117, because when you look at overs, and I say this quite regularly sort of on many of the shows we do, when you look at over and you bet over 2.5 goals, you really want both sides to contribute to the goals. And I just, from every look at this, I just can't see how both of these sides won't score. So to get -136, about the 2 highest scoring teams currently in the Championship, at a time of year where they usually goals sort of go a little bit high. I suppose the other thing, the one thing we haven't mentioned, Steve, which is probably a little bit of a factor, is that it's very cold in England.
The weather.
This evening. I mean, there's not many goals around in the league at the moment now. I'm looking at League 1s, League 2s, a lot, especially in League 2. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 11 matches, which are all under in the League 2. So there's not so many goals around. So that might play a little bit of a factor in. So it's a very, very cold evening series. But that would be the only thing I could think of.
Yeah, I think that the real cold snap is actually starting, about now into tomorrow, really. It's going to be the next sort of 5 to 7 days, certainly across the north of England. I know that's going to be barely above freezing, but, they're used to it this time of year. Sheffield is not the warmest of places anyway, so they're kind of used to it there. That's the daily double. Hopefully it can cash. Nigel, we've got you on the show, so we've got to talk darts. PDC Darts World Championship. You've been doing really well there at Ali Pally. You were there at the just a couple of days ago, weren't you? Today we've seen Ryan Searle make the semi-final, 5-2 win for Ryan Searle. And the Flying Scotsman is well on track, Gary Anderson, with a win against Justin Hood. But later on, we've got Luke Littler, the machine. I say machine, that's James Wade, isn't it? Against Krzysztof Ratajski. Ratajski plus 900. I thought he'd be double digits, to be honest, Nigel. In this one.
I mean, I think the thing is with that match tonight is obviously Luke Littler has stirred up the crowd with his attitude after the game at the Palace. We really referred to them paying for his wages and his prize money. And I think this is the first time where he's going to be very, very heavily booed by the Ali Pali crowd. And that's going to be a game where they can be a little bit more vociferous at the end of the day when they've had a few beers in them rather than at the beginning of the day. So Luke Littler coming onto that stage tonight is going to get a welcome that he's never had in his young career, but that won't bother him. He's too good. Ratajski just hasn't got the weapons to compete with him over the longer distances. The first 5 sets tonight. I can see Littler winning this 5-0, which is no surprise whatsoever. He's a heavy money favourite. He's averaging 103.81 on the tournament, across the tournament, which is incredible average over the matches he's played. He only looked vulnerable for a very short period of time against Rob Cross, but Rob Cross played some of the best darts he's played this year, and Littler still come through. Ratajski just isn't strong enough on the 180s. He's a plodder. He'll average around about 95, but if Littler's can go up a level, Littler can average 110 here, and he can be averaging sort of 15 more than Ratajski every time he goes to the board. He's been unbelievable in his checkouts. He's got the highest checkout percentage in the tournament so far in terms of his checkout stats. And it's his to lose. I mean, the only people that can beat Luke Littler in this tournament is Luke Littler himself or the Ali Pali crowd if they got on his back. But I don't think that'll bother him. I think this is what he's made to do. He's a kid, has no fear, and I don't see that bothering him whatsoever. So a very comfortable evening for Luke Littler. If I was giving you a bet tonight, I think Luke Littler could wrap it up very, very quickly, and I think you could bet under 16.5 180s because I think the legs will be. But I don't think there'll be many legs. I think this will be over fairly comfortably. Littler will win easy. And Ratajski doesn't get many 180s. And I suppose if his head goes down, he goes 3 behind. The Littler's relentless. You need Littler on his own to get a sort of double figures. And I know he's been great on the 180s, but on a one-sided match where the legs are low, I think probably under 16.5 180s would be my bet.
Yeah, it looks a difficult ask for Krzysztof Ratajski, the Polish Eagle, but he may well not be soaring in the sky this evening. The second game, though, this one here, Luke Humphries, Guillaume Van Veen. I saw Wayne Mardle earlier said this could be a quarter-final for the ages, potentially. Very memorable encounter. Humphries is the favourite, but he has a bad record against Van Veen this year, doesn't he?
Yeah. And also, I mean, I'm quite surprised. I think this is a genuine 50-50 call, this. Jan Van Veen has got the highest average of the two, 100.55. Only Luke Littler's got a better average in the tournament. He's got better checkout stats than Humphries, and Humphries is averaging 97.47. But Humphries is a former world champion. Van Veen is a player that's got all the potential, but over longer matches, his problem is he can't sustain his high level over longer matches. In short bursts, he's unplayable. This is the biggest match of his career, and I think this is his time to stay on the stage, to lift up. I think Van Veen can win this tonight. I think plus 120 is a decent price. I think this will be an epic. I like Van Veen to get more 180s. Humphries is switches to the 19s quite a lot. Van Veen is pounding around the 20s, treble 20s. I like Van Veen on that. I like Van Veen in a lot of markets here. And I think this is a genuine 50-50 call. Everyone seems to think it's Humphries and Littler, but this boy is not far off the two of them. And I would argue that his form at this World Championships is actually better than Luke Humphries. Littler's number 1 for me, Van Veen's number 2. I think it will be a Littler-Van Veen final, and I expect Van Veen to come through here and win this match. This is his moment to shine. Humphries, to me, hasn't been at his best, and I think if it goes wrong for Humphries, I know he can be a bit explosive, but his temperament has been questionable a little bit this season. So Van Veen, for me, better player. If you come out and look at the stats on the tournament, throughout his stats of the tournament, and just this tournament alone, he would never be a plus 120 shot. He would probably be the marginal favourite. And I think the market is just looking at Luke Humphries' history over the last couple of years. his potential, the amount of times he got to the final against Luke Littler, and everyone keeps saying he's the only one who can challenge Luke Littler. I think Van Veen is not far off that conversation at the moment. So these, for me, are number 2 and number 3 tennis players, darts players right now at this moment in time. And to get plus 120 for Van Veen, I think is a little bit too big. And I've bet Van Veen tonight on the money line.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned there Van Veen. He's plus 102 in the 180s market. Tie no bet against Luke Humphries. I mean, this is now the best. He's the best Dutch player now out there. He's better than Van Gerwen, isn't he? Van Veen.
Yeah. I mean, if he played Van Gerwen tomorrow here, he'd be a marginal favourite. I mean, I think he's the 3rd best darts player in the world. But the problem with him is that he shows amazing spurts where he's unplayable, and then he has lulls. So you can't do that against Humphries, and you can't do that against Luke Littler. You can do it against a lot of other players, but you've got to be at it every single time. So this is a big match for Van Veen. This is his opportunity to shine. This is his opportunity to have the big breakthrough win. And I think it's there for him. I think plus 120 is a big price, and I'm on the Van Veen train this evening.
Matlock says Nigel's always got his eye on the tennis season. He likes it. The tennis season is starting very, very soon. You're going to do some recordings in a few days' time, Nigel.
Yeah, we're back. We're back on Saturday. Hopefully, the problems here. But Saturday, we're recording the WTA show. The draw in Brisbane is the qualifiers now. The draw is out probably tomorrow. We record Saturday's show, and then Sunday, myself and Sean will be back looking at the ATP start in the build-up to the Aussie Open. It's only 2 weeks away.
I'm going to finish with this incredible story today that's come out of the African Nations Cup. I'm going to put the odds actually for the outright winner on there now. But Gabon, its own government, has suspended the national team until further notice after a disgraceful performance at the tournament. And captain Bruno Ekomanga and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang have been banned from representing the Panthers. What a way. It wouldn't be AFCON without a story like that. But we do know now the lineups for the tournament, and the last 16 will be ongoing from the weekend onwards. We'll cover it on Betting Weekly Live next week. Of course, Morocco are the favourites, plus 225. I still like Senegal. I've got a ticket on them, and they're in the perfect half of the draw. When you get to this stage of a tournament, you've got to look at the draw. And Algeria and Nigeria plus Morocco are on the same side. So if I was looking at an outright, I'd be looking at Senegal. Egypt as well are in the easier half of the draw. And I know a few did like him with Mo Salah around, but I don't think I've ever come across this before, Nigel, where a government has basically disbanded and suspended its own national team. Incredible.
Well, I wish some of the tournaments that England have been at, the government stepped in and could send them home after some of the performances they did over the years. But no, it like you say, it wouldn't be the AFCON without a story like that. And it's this time, it's Gabon doing a story. Do you know what, Steve? There's so much sport going on with the darts, with the start of tennis, and with loads of soccer, football domestically. I haven't watched one match of the AFCON, not one match. I'm glad that you're there to help me out. But if you think Senegal are a bet, then they're a bet. Would they be someone that you know, if they win this tournament and they're doing really well and they're like impressing? You know, they've beaten England, haven't they, in the warm ups to the World Cup? Are we looking at them potentially as a team to follow in the World Cup?
Well, we were talking on yesterday's live show with Nathan Joyce, and he certainly thinks if you like some of these African teams, like Morocco, for example, if they win it, he gave out Morocco to win the group that contains Brazil in the World Cup this summer, plus 300. That won't be plus 300 if they win the African Nations Cup. You're probably going to get cut there. But if you like, I mean, Senegal, I think Senegal are the best team in Africa. So some would disagree with me. Some will say Morocco. But yeah, whoever does really well in this tournament, then the World Cup odds naturally will shrink, even if it's just by a little bit. So if you're out there and you do like betting on any African teams for that tournament, then now's your time to get in. We had a question on the comments, Steve from Lynn, who is coming chat today. Happy New Year to you, Stephen. About, is there any point betting on World Cup futures markets now, Nigel? You might as well wait a month before the tournament, but the factors can change, injuries, stuff like that.
That's probably the fact of injuries is probably more of a reason to wait to start the tournament, because then you know exactly what teams are going out there, what personnel's being out there, squad selection. So he's probably got a very good case. But if you're sitting there holding 100-1 voucher on Norway to win this World Cup, and then suddenly and he's now down as 25-1, and Erling Haaland has a fracture of his leg or something, then you're 200-1 immediately. So I don't see how injuries can benefit you. Injuries can only be a negative for you.
Yeah, I mean, I do have a ticket on Norway at 66 to 1. If he gets injured, I might as well give it away in a raffle prize.
Yeah.
Because they have absolutely no
The
chance
person
whatsoever.
who wins the second prize in the raffle could play for Norway without him. That's it.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, Nigel, there's a lot of darkness outside there. You've got your own generator because...
No, it's pitch black. There's nothing. No
other lights on at all.
No, nothing.
But you've got your own generator for
on everything. It's like amazing. Mrs. just come over with a press release. Power cuts in the area. People are getting text alerts like they will be likely to be affected until 7:30 p.m. That's breaking news from the Seeley household. There it is.
That is ridiculous. But it's winter, isn't it? I suppose things can happen. We'll leave it with the Daily Double again. Yesterday's Daily Double won, by the way. Put it on the screen now. Incredible come from behind win for Ivory Coast for Nathan Joyce there. That was a plus 109 winner. Let's hope we can back that up today with this Daily Double winner. Both teams score, Sheffield United, Leicester, and Man City on the money line at plus 144. What would be your best bet today in the soccer and the darts, Nigel?
I like Man City minus 1.25, and I like Van Veen to beat Luke Humphries tonight in the quarterfinals of the darts.
Brilliant. Yeah, I have to say, for me, I like Sheffield United on that money line. And I do like Liverpool to cover the -1 Asian handicap against Leeds in a high-scoring game. We have got the pizza money bonus bet. As a reminder for those who are new in chat, we've got a lot more in now than we did earlier. So if you are new, please consider subscribing to the channel. But if you've got your eyes on the plus money bet on Bet Rivers, use that code there, betting weekly 1218 in capitals, and you get a $10 bonus bet to use on any plus money play. And you got till January the 11th to use that. I know loads of you have taken advantage of that. So we can continue to do it if you're eligible for it. Best of luck, whatever you're taking. And Nigel, best of luck, everything today. Hope that power comes on consistently quicker.
We need it back for the tennis tomorrow, or rather, otherwise we're in trouble. So we need to sort this out, get the odd generator going.
Take care, everyone. Remember to gamble responsibly. I'll see you tomorrow with Rory Barlow's going to be on. We'll talk about the whole La Liga card coming up this weekend. Three managerial changes in La Liga over the Christmas break. We'll get Rory's opinions on that. But until next time, it's goodbye from Betting Weekly Live.